Would you pay over 100k 4 years of your life just to get a piece of paper that might not even get you a job? Most young people are pushed into university and college as it's the only path to success. In this video, I'll be showing you the true cost of going to university, the completely broken system, the third income tax, and some better alternatives. Hi, I'm George. I'm a data analyst and investor of 5 years now, and I've built a career over the last 5 years without relying on an elite degree just to get me in the door. And this video isn't about me hating on people going to higher education. It's just me trying to educate you on the bad financial deal that you're getting in the long term. So firstly, let's jump onto the true cost of going to university. So at the point of recording in 2025, tuition fees are set to go up to £9,535 per year. This is an increase from £9,250 just the year before. So let's quickly do a basic calculation. If we take that tuition fee and multiply it times 4, let's say you're doing a degree that requires you to be there for 4 years. This already is a total of £38,140. But on top of this, there is an accumulation of loans that you're going to be needing to actually just live. And this is known as the living cost. So for most people in their uni, they may not have a job at all or just a part-time job to get by. But for the majority of people, they're going to be taking out the accommodation loan. This effectively is almost £10,000 per year that is deposited into your account, normally within 4 quarters of £3,000-ish. Really depends on how much your parents earn and sort of your living situation. But let's average it out to needing around £10,000 per year. And this is for everything like accommodation, travel, books, resources, food. Depending on which city you're in, this can easily rack up to £10,000 to £15,000 per year. Especially in a city like London, this could go up even more. So with doing your 4-year course and all of the money that is needed for you to live, the average student debt now is over £55,000. And this is just the average. For students in London, this is definitely 60 to 70,000. Now you might be thinking, well, yes, that's just the price of going to university, and you should be able to pay that back within 10 to 15 years. The point I'm trying to make here is that most 18-year-olds who are signing up to go to university do not understand what the interest rate is or what compound interest is. So if we take that £55,000 on average, and let's say over your lifetime, you're going to pay that back over 25 years at a 7% interest rate, which is the current interest rate right now. Over that amount of time, contributing 6 to 9% of your salary, you're going to be paying almost £100,000 towards that student loan. Over that period of time, you are effectively paying double what you have been told. And this is just if you are meeting the minimum payments on the average salary within England. And in total, it can vary from city to city and of course how much you are earning per year, but it will be on average between £60,000 to £100,000 that degree is going to cost you in total. So let's jump on to the next point of what they call the third income tax. So what I mean by this is once you've finally graduated university and you've gotten that shiny new postgraduate job, paying you anywhere between £28,000 to £38,000 per year, student loan repayments act as the third tax. So on your salary each and every month, you are going to be paying the basic income tax, as well as national insurance. And then, on top of all of that, you're going to be paying your student loan. This means that on your nice new salary, you're going to be paying between 20 to 40% tax, depending on your tax bracket, plus another 8% national insurance. And then, on top of all of that, between 6 to 9% on your student loan repayment. Considering all of these taxes, it can be upwards of 40% of your salary gone. Now, of course, there are different plans in which that you pay different percentages of your salary depending on which bracket you've gotten yourself into. But if we take an example of a £35,000 salary, which is about the average in the UK, you'll be paying roughly £70 per month. And if you get a £50,000 per year job, you'll be paying closer to £170 per month to that student loan repayment. On your £55,000 loan at a 7% interest rate, you are going to be paying anywhere somewhere in the realm of £65,000 to £95,000, just depending on which plan you get yourself into and how much money you're going to be earning throughout your lifetime. For some people who may leave with a finance degree, may jump up and get a pretty high starting salary and be able to contribute more to their student loan per month. However, for some of the people who may graduate with a lesser known degree or just really struggling in the job market, they're going to be starting on a lower salary and therefore paying more over their lifetime. In my eyes, I don't see it as a loan. I see this as effectively the third income tax on your salary for almost the rest of your life. With this in mind, let's jump over to the next point of the job market reality post-graduation. So if we take a mixture of the figures from both the government website and the Office of National Statistics, there is roughly around 3.4 million people who graduate every single year. And of these graduates, there is a 6% unemployment rate. So if we do the quick calculation, there is about 200,000 postgraduates who are completely unemployed. And this number is rising every single year. Now, for me, I like to go off raw data and statistics, but this is just the numbers that are given to me. However, with the sentiment of the people around my age and some of the people that I know who have gotten degrees, it may feel like that there is more than 200,000 unemployed graduates. Now, this isn't a fact, but I personally believe with the sentiment of the graduates in the UK, I would hazard a guess to push that number up to maybe 300 to maybe even 400,000, closer to the 10% unemployment rate. However, the reality that you're seeing here is that degrees no longer mean a guaranteed job. Many people who graduated with the university degree of their dreams, whether they wanted to be a marine biologist, work in finance, maybe go into technology, become a teacher. Many of the graduates today are just working in retail or working in completely unrelated jobs to their degree. An example of this is when you go onto job boards like LinkedIn and Indeed, you can apply for some basic level admin jobs that for some reason whatsoever, they require a degree just to be able to use Excel and PowerPoint. So because the job market is so tough, many of these graduates will just apply and basically mass apply to hundreds and hundreds of jobs, basically in the hopes of just getting a job so that they can start getting some income. And they will think about getting into that specific degree that they trained for sometime in the future, which of course many people do. But many people get completely stuck in the wrong type of job. Someone who studied computer science and wanted to become a software engineer may end up going into customer service. Now, I will say that there is a shift that is taking place at the moment in that employers are looking more and more to real world experience, portfolios, and some personal projects that you've done outside of the degree and outside of your traditional work. There are some jobs that don't necessarily need a degree anymore because they are looking at real world experience. Now, a perfect example of this is people who work in technology. Most certifications in technology absolutely trump any degree. I work in technology and the majority of the people that I work with don't have a computer science degree, and they rather get certifications just because they are a better form of training themselves up. Overall, in 2025, a personal portfolio, certifications, or a completion of an apprenticeship often means that they are better suited than somebody with a degree. This brings me over to the next really interesting point of a traditional degree versus a new apprenticeship. So apprenticeships in the UK have gotten massive traction over the last few years, and it seems like everybody wants to do them, because they are effectively the perfect package. When you get accepted to join a degree apprenticeship program, you firstly get a good salary. It's normally a good salary starting off, especially in London. You get to earn whilst you learn, so you're learning on the job. And then at the very end of it, you have a degree as well, which is really, really good. And the degree is paid for by the employer. So you come out with no debt whatsoever, normally 3 to 4 years of experience, a degree, also some savings because you've been able to save some money over the years, and no student loan. I personally think that a degree apprenticeship is the golden ticket for anybody between the ages of 18 to basically 30. The amount of people who get a full-time job and is paying a really good salary after they've completed the apprenticeship, either with their current employer or just with another one, is really, really high. This is because they have a lot of experience already and they don't need to be trained up like a postgraduate might be. People who have completed an apprenticeship already understand the corporate culture and how to work in a corporate world, whereas the majority of postgraduates, they come out of university and have no clue how to do some even really basic stuff that is required in a corporate job. Now, in comparison with a degree, I would say that there is definitely some use cases in which a degree is massively needed over an apprenticeship. These are ones, of course, in the medical field. If you're training to be a doctor, heart surgeon, dentist, then a lot of the time you do need a traditional degree just because it's pretty hard to learn on the job when you're giving somebody surgery. But for a lot of jobs nowadays, like mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, technology, finance, even lawyers are getting apprenticeships just because it is a better route nowadays. Now, the starting salary for an apprentice can start anywhere between £22,000 to £30,000 per year, and that will normally go up 2 or 3% with inflation as well. So over the 3 years, you've earned between £60,000 to £70,000 and also get a free degree. Whereas a graduate will come out with £38,000 in debt, plus all of the living expenses, so average £55,000 in debt, with basically £0 in savings or earnings, just because they may have had a part-time job and needed to spend all that money, unless you're one of the lucky people who get an internship. By age 21, an apprentice could be ahead financially by 30, maybe even 40k ahead of that degree student. Now, let's jump onto the next point of the opportunity cost. Uni isn't just about the money spent, but it's about the time lost. In those 3 years, there is the potential to accomplish something even better than the degree that you're going to end up with. A perfect example that I already highlighted is in those 3 years, you can complete a degree apprenticeship for free. In those 3 years, you could potentially skill up in the trades and become a plumber or electrician. Or in those 3 years, you could take that £50,000 that you were going to spend on a degree and effectively put it into a business. If an apprentice is able to invest £200 per month of their salary into an index fund at a 7% interest rate for those 3 years, whilst the other degree student is at university, they're going to be almost 10k financially well off just over those 3 years, and that's a nice saving. Now, I'm not going to slam the traditional degree too hard, as there is still some points to actually get one, and this is when university still makes sense. Degrees are often worth the cost if you're going into medicine, bioscience, dentistry, veterinary service, some types of law, architecture, and of course some finance and accounting routes, but not all. And the reason why is that most of these institutions still require you to have a degree, and that is a final say so. And the point here is that you can still treat university like an investment, in that you get that piece of paper in order to get a really high paying job. But personally, I would say this is only worthy if the return on investment is really clear. And that effectively means earning almost 6 figures or 6 figures plus throughout your career. So what are some alternatives to university? There is, of course, apprenticeships. You can earn whilst you learn. There is certifications. Now, of course, there is tons of certifications across all types of fields. But for IT, there is AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure certifications. Within finance, there is the CFA and ACA certifications. You can also do some online learning. You can effectively learn everything and every subject online, whether this be through YouTube, maybe Udemy or Coursera courses, but there is tons of either free education or there is some paid education that you can pay for really small amounts on Coursera or Udemy. Of course, we are in the AI era as well at the moment, and you can get AI to teach you just about anything without needing a degree. There is also the entrepreneurship or side hustle route. You could straight up start your own business in any field you would like. And within those 3 years, you'll either realize that it's successful or unsuccessful. And last but not least, there is freelancing. This is being able to learn a skill, then market that skill, and then finally charge for the skill. But just to wrap up my final thoughts is that university degrees can be worth it, but for the majority of people, it's really not. It's a financial debt trap that so many young people get into and have to pay for the rest of their life. Also, don't let a £60,000 decision be your first financial mistake. If you really did like that video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and also give it a like. If you didn't like the video, please give it a dislike, but tell me why in the comments. Let me know down in the comments, did you get a university degree and how much did you pay for it? Also, stick around to watch my next video here also. Thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one.